rest, even though I'm so stressed out. Everything just feels like a test that I fail, so depressed when I can't seem to get out. But something deep inside won't let me quit. I swear that I'm inspired by all this shit. Tell me that I can and I won't. That's what guides me the most. Your lies, I'll do what I want.
Hello, everybody. This is Apba Brian and the Picks to Post show. If you like getting an idea of what's going to happen in the coming Sunday, this is a good place to stop and be. We had a great week last week. First of all, we're joined by Keith Long.
Keith White, but that's
Keith
my
White,
channel name.
That's a channel. Yeah. Keith White, Keith W. Long Overdue is his YouTube channel. We're joined by Rob Kinsler, and you can find him on YouTube at Rob ! And Tim Giles, and he is Cleveland baseball fan 879.
I'll go ahead and correct you with my last name. It's Gillis, but that's okay.
Gillis. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Everybody has it. I'm not of relation to former MLBers Marcus and Brian.
So as I say, last week, Rob went 13-3. Tim went 13-3. Harris, who can't be with us tonight, he was also 13-3. And for the season, Harris is at 73%, tied with Tim, 73%. That's pretty darn good. I mean, if you're over 2/3 on straight up in a league of parity, 73% is really good. Rob and Dan is 69%, and Dan is just now joining us.
All right.
Hi, Dan.
Good.
How's it going?
It's going good.
All right, we got our first game up is the Chicago Bears going to Washington to play the Washington Commanders. Chicago is still 0-4. I think it's 0-14 at this point. And they're going to Washington where it's supposed to be 71 degrees and clear. The Commanders are 2-2. And that's going to be Amazon Prime game. All right, Keith, who's going to win that game?
Well, I really, as a Commanders fan, am probably being a little overly pessimistic about this. They're home against a team that's playing really bad. The Bears might just be completely destructed already. I mean, they might come out and just play completely terrible, get blown out. That's possible. If they have a spirited effort, though, and they come out there and play fairly well, like they did in the first half against Denver, I just have a feeling short week, Washington's going to lose this game if it's close. I'm going to pick the Bears.
Rob?
Justin Fields. I ain't picking that team. I don't care if you put me against a high school team. 35-24. I think Commanders dominate. If it's any time they can all season, dominate this team. I think they win.
Tim?
Yeah, especially now with Chase Claypool joining the forces of the disgruntled in Chicago. Can't have that. Can't do it. Don't want to sound like Mike Singletary with the 49ers, but
yeah, I want players.
Yeah.
I want winners.
I want winners.
Winners.
Yeah, and even with that bad, I got a little bit low scoring than that because it's a Thursday night game and usually they're not that high scoring. But I'll take the Commanders to win.
Dan?
I hope you're right.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. The Commanders, they've got some places to go with the ball. Howell, I mean, he looks okay against bad teams. That's a plus for him. Against a good team, though, he's pretty lost. The Bears, I mean, they put together 3 quarters of football. That was the most they've played all year. And they haven't won a game since October 2022. I can't pick that team. There's no way. Give me the Commanders.
Only a completely crazy person would pick the Bears.
Sorry, Keith. I can't jump in that boat with you, buddy.
Thanks, Tim.
That clip is only for you, Keith.
I mean, listening to you guys, I'm like, damn, why am I being so stupid on this? But I made the pick. I'm going to stick with it. It's like I don't really believe it, but it's like on the same hand, I fear this colossal embarrassment could happen if they're not prepared. If they come out and play sloppy or something, they're clearly the better team. But I don't know. I have a fear about this game.
Keith, the embarrassment is in Chicago, where it is
there.
And unbearable. Fields, like you said, had a good few quarters. Led his team to a 3-touchdown lead. He had 335 yards, 4 touchdowns, and interception, but he fell apart at the end. He had that scoop and score fumble in the fourth quarter, and then he finished the game with an interception. So yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm taking Washington in this game. Harris is not with us, but he's also taking Washington. And let's see our next game. By the way, the Commanders are going to be wearing their black uniforms.
Yeah.
And
So only one of us needs a mental evaluation after that first pick.
Now we got the Sunday morning game, which is going to be, I think, on the NFL Network. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they're 2-2. It's supposed to be 74 degrees in London. This is kind of a neutral game. The Josh Allen versus Josh Allen game. Bills are 3-1. And like I said, this is on the NFL Network. Okay, Rob?
What stadium is this? Last week's was Wembley. This is in
Tottenham.
London.
It's going to be Tottenham.
Tottenham Stadium this week.
I was gonna say
different
that,
stadium.
I might be wrong.
The Jags normally play well overseas. They really do. And but man, oh man, Trevor Lawrence against this defense, I'm not going there. I'm just not. The Bills have laid 2 smack dabs on the last 2 weeks. They're going to do it again. 33-17, the Bills stomp them.
Tim?
Yeah, I can't disagree with that, especially when you put 48 on a team that just put up 70. I know that's not going to happen 2 weeks in a row, but 30 sounds like about the right number of points for the Bills, and I think it's enough to get them a win.
Dan?
Yeah, they're rolling. They looked real shaky that first week, but geez, they look very complete. Point you brought up last week with that defense just looks dominant again. They lost their top corner, and that's a shame because he seems to go out every other year. Tre'Davious White, but I think they have enough pieces to hang with the Jaguars and really beat them probably by about 15-20 points easy. Jaguars, they haven't figured out what they're doing on offense at all. They're not consistent, and I just don't think this team can run with the Bills.
I sort of think it'll be a closer game tonight. I think this will be one of the better games because Jacksonville, they've been there, settled in for 2 weeks. They didn't come back to the States. They stayed in London. And they've always been pretty tough when they play games in England. Josh Allen on defense had 3 sacks last week. It's going to be Josh Allen chasing Josh Allen. It's going to be interesting. Well, I think it's going to be a competitive game. Buffalo, on the other hand, they won their last 3 games by an average of 30 points. They're steamrolling. But I have this theory, and I've had it since 1993, that a team can play at their peak for about 3 weeks, and then there's a little bit of a drop-off. It's really hard to win in the NFL. It's really hard to be at your very, very, very best. But I'm picking Buffalo, and I think a closer game. Keith?
So there's a Josh Allen for Jacksonville. Is that what I'm picking up?
Yeah,
Yes.
Kentucky.
Defensive end, yeah. Mhm, yeah.
Okay. And you say Jacksonville is staying over there; they're not traveling back over here and then going back.
Right.
Correct.
That could be a factor as far as they're not being fatigued. But the Bills, I don't know when they plan on going out there. Hopefully, they're thinking about it maybe Thursday or Friday. Get some rest. I just think Buffalo's clicking a little too much right now. Even if the Jaguars get a little bit of an advantage with that not having to travel and the Bills having to come out that way. Talk about West going to East. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Bills.
Gotcha. Harris.
Bills, the East team, or both of them are really, but
Yeah, Harris kind of went out on a limb on this one. He is going with Jacksonville. All right, our next game is the Houston Texans. And the Texans are 2-2. This game is going to be in a dome, so we're not worried about the weather. They're going to be on the Fox channel playing the Atlanta Falcons. CJ Stroud is really rolling for the Houston Texans. Tim, you first.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of those all red uniforms. Thankfully, they won't be wearing them this week. This will actually be a little bit closer game. The Texans have kind of blown off their last two opponents, but I just don't. The Falcons maybe have a little bit more pride, but not enough, I don't think, to win. It's going to be. It could be maybe a late score gets the Texans over the hump.
So you're taking Houston.
Yes,
Dan?
taking Houston. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, Falcons home. They may be able to get Bijan running a little better than they have been, but really, defenses are able to pin their ears back and stop the run because the pass game is so bad. Desmond Ridder does not have it. He's throwing multiple picks every game at the worst time for his team, and he's just not able to get the ball out to what I think is a pretty impressive collection of guys. Between Pitts and Drake London, you should be scoring points in the passing game. Until the Falcons show me that they can do something other than run the ball and play more than above average defense, I think the Texans will be able to outscore them easily.
The Houston Texans, C.J. Stroud is passed for 1,212 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. He is off to a great start. And he's making NFL GMs and coaches rethink about that S2 cognitive test that they give at the combine. If you remember back in the draft, when we did the draft show, that C.J. Stroud scored really low on that test, like an 18. But the guy that scored the highest was a 98. And I think that was Bryce. And then Anthony Richardson scored a little bit lower than 19. And then C.J. Stroud was way behind, almost historically behind. But he's not playing dumb. He's making good decisions and playing as he did at Ohio State. Damian Pierce got it together. He had his first good day this year. I think this game comes down to which line will protect the quarterback the best. And I was really high on Atlanta's line, and then 3 weeks ago, and then they fell apart. The last 2 weeks, their line has not been able to protect Ridder. Bijan Robinson is the positive thing with that team, and Johnny Smith and Kyle Pitts, the two tight ends, are both having pretty good years. They're kind of splitting the wealth at tight end. But I think Houston's got too much for them. I think Houston wins this game. Keith?
Was that the Wonderlic test or something you were citing?
It's called the S. Maybe it's called the Wonderlic test, but I think it's the S2 cognitive test.
Yeah, I always wonder if that really measures the mental stuff you need to play the game of football. Though I mean, a lot of football is reading, seeing with your eyes, and then physically getting.
Only two players ever have gotten a 50 on the Wonderlic test, and one of them was a punter.
Oh, wow. I don't know if Atlanta shouldn't be playing Heineke or something at quarterback. I haven't seen really the statistics on Ridder or anything, but the way that the Texans are playing right now, I'm going to go with them. It might be a close game. It might be one of those games where there's kind of a couple clusters of scoring here and there, and then other periods where there's not hardly any scoring. So a median type of score. low 40s in points, but I'll go with the Texans to win it.
And I think the one statistic to remember with Ritter, he is 0-8 on the road. He's never won a road game in the NFL. Rob?
Yeah, he'd never won it on the road, but he gets to play at home this week. Ritter against Stroud, I like Stroud. Offensive line, I like Houston's a little better. Defense, no doubt, I like Houston's better. Man, oh man, it's everything points right here for Texans to have a letdown and let the Falcons actually win this game. I don't think it happens though. 24-17. I'm gonna pick the Texans, but I'm very, very, very intrigued to how the Falcons come out and play this week. I think they could win, but I'm not gonna pick them.
All right, the next game is the Detroit Lions hosting the Carolina Panthers. Carolina is 0-4, and Detroit is 3-1. This game is in a dome, so we're not worried about the weather. It's going to be on the Fox channel. Montgomery for the Lions last week had a big day, rushed for 121 yards. And I think is Tim first.
No, I think it's
It's Dan.
Yeah, so Lions are impressive. They look great on defense, getting after it. They've got some guys back there that can cover some top end receivers, and with the guy they have on the defensive line, Hutchinson, I mean, you really can't stop him. Carolina's a mess everywhere, I think. I wouldn't want to throw to any of those receivers. They don't have much going for them, and they keep giving up picks to get players that just aren't panning out. I like the Lions. It's an easy one. The only thing I have bad to say about the Lions is, they spent a first-round pick on Jahmyr Gibbs, and he touches the ball maybe 5 times a game. It doesn't make a lot of sense to spend that asset there when they had some other areas in need. Give me the Lions.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be special ways they were going to use Gibbs, and we've not seen that.
Yeah, it's been left bench is where they played him.
left out.
That's not the so special way to use him. Carolina is 0-4 against the spread so far this year. Their season has just not gotten off the ground. Bryce Young is struggling. They did beat Detroit last year, 37-23, running the football. So I think the Detroit Lions are going to come motivated. They are the best rush defense in the NFL so far. And I think Detroit Lions are not going to let Carolina run the ball like they did last year. And then that leaves Bryce Young, who's not figured it out yet. I think Detroit gets an easy victory in this game. Keith?
Dan, do you think that players, though, they gain a lot in the way that they learn and they improve by sitting there on the bench watching the games? There's got to be some kind of a
right. If you watch David Montgomery run like 30 times,
other guys do the
you're
work.
definitely going to run better, right? Yeah,
yeah, right.
Sadly, I think that thinking is so 1980s.
Yes, it is. Well, there was a day, I guess, when quarterbacks weren't really ready to play the pro game when they first came in the league, but I don't know.
Not anymore.
Yeah, no, they got to be now. Lions in this one. I don't know if the Panthers have any advantages anywhere on their team over the Lions. And Lions at home, I don't think they're going to play a clunker like they did against the Seahawks. And they're not playing the Seahawks. They're playing the Panthers. So I'll go with the Lions.
Rob?
Lions 35-16. It's over with at halftime.
Tim?
Yeah, I expect the Lions to win big.
There is one rookie quarterback that sat on the bench for his first year.
Oh boy.
Jordan Love.
Jordan Love.
Well, Jordan Love spent a few years on the bench. Mahomes was on the bench for.
Well, Aaron Rodgers did too.
Aaron Rodgers
spent a few years on the bench.
But he's on the pine again, though.
Hall of Fame quarterback Lenny Dawson back in the day was like on the bench for 5 years, and it was so long he literally had to be retrained on how to play quarterback completely.
Was this when he was with Cleveland and Pittsburgh?
Yep. Yeah.
That was the weirdest thing when I saw that on Immaculate Grid that he played for the Browns. I was like, I've never known that.
Be regroomed.
Fran Tarkington's career in New York must have been pretty unspectacular because whenever you watch highlight films of him in his career, it's all with the Vikings. I mean, you don't see anything with him as a Giant.
They had to teach Lenny Dawson completely his footwork, just ball handling, everything.
Mhm.
But he got it. All right, the next game is the Tennessee Titans. They're 2-2, playing the Indianapolis Colts. I got the old Baltimore logo just because I like it. And they're 2-2. This game's on CBS.
It's you, Brian.
Derrick Henry got back in his groove last week. He rushed for 100 yards. I think he also threw a touchdown pass in that game. I guess the wrong thing up there. All right.
You're first, Brian.
Tennessee is kind of weird. Last week they lost, or 2 weeks ago they lost 27-3. Last week they won 27-3. They're going to need to focus to keep a lid on explosive plays and count on their defensive line to defend the run against the Colts and against Richardson. Richardson's playing, isn't he? As far as I know.
Yeah.
As far as I know, yeah.
He's out of protocol now. Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah. The Titans have won their last 5 games against Indiana, and I'm going to trust Tennessee to put it together one more time and win this game as well. Everybody in the AFC South is 2-2, but and it's probably going to be the way it's going to be all year long. I got Tennessee. Keith?
Colts at home, and then this last game they were all played early. They fell way behind, and they came back only to lose in overtime. But they did win at Baltimore, which is kind of impressive. Titans are playing a little better than they were, and overall, I think there might still be a little bit better team than the Colts. So I'm going to take the Texans to win it at least.
Titans or Colts? Texans.
Did I say Texans? I mean the Titans. I'm sorry.
John?
Brian gave me a pill. I did it.
Hey, where my brain's going, I don't have spare pills. My doctor's checking me for things like that.
It's looking like Jonathan Taylor's not going to be coming back for the Colts. He's requesting a trade. They said that he came back to practice. He was scheduled to yesterday. I have not heard how that went, but the Colts have until the 31st to deal Taylor. Something's up with that. I don't know exactly what's the deal, but your best running back don't want to play for you, and you're tied for the lead. Something's up. I don't like it at all. Titans win this ball game. I think they got a better running back anyway with that big boy. 21-16, Titans, late score wins the game for them.
Okay. Tim?
So, and we had a smooth single by Carlos Santana to give the Brewers a 1-0 lead. Yeah, I could say that about him. He played for Cleveland twice. Anyway, back to football. I mean, this has the dealings of let's hope this isn't a roller coaster for the Titans. If not, they might want to head about an hour west to Cedar Point, which is near where I live. I think the Titans, like I said, I think it might be a late score does it, so I'll go with the Titans to win. See if they can't string a couple of these together.
Okay, Dan?
You're on mute.
You're on mute, bud.
My fault. Pick'em game in my mind. These two teams are both not quite ready for prime time. They're pieces away. The reason that I think that Taylor's not playing, Rob, that I'd heard, is he had a conversation with Irsay, the owner, during his contract talks, and he walked away from that so upset that he just said he wasn't going to play for the team anymore. So he's claimed an ankle injury, but I think it's more just a broken relationship with the team. You know, the Colts are 0-2 at home. The Titans are 2-0 on the road. Give me the Titans.
Tennessee. So everybody is down on Tennessee.
How about
Actually, Mo-
Harris too?
Oh, yeah, Harris has got Tennessee too. Harris differed with us on the Houston-Atlanta game. He picked Atlanta.
Oh,
was that
really?
a roller coaster you were talking about, Tim?
What's that?
Was that a roller coaster or something you were talking about?
Yeah, Cedar
About the
Point.
Titans being on.
Oh, yeah. But you said
Cedar-
come visit one near you?
Yeah, there's Cedar Point, the world famous that's in Sandusky. It's
Oh,
about an hour.
Yeah, outside of Cleveland. Yeah.
We were at my
Actually,
family and I.
it's in Sandusky, which is nowhere near Cleveland.
Yeah,
Oh,
my family and I were at Cedar Point like about a year. Let's see, maybe 25 years ago. And while we were there, we just got into our swims. They got a swimming area there, and we just got in our swimsuits. And then the tornado sirens went off. So we had to.
Hey, Christmas on that one, boy. Oh,
Yeah.
boy. Yeah.
Our next game is the New York Giants. They're 1-3. Supposed to be pretty warm. Oh, they're playing in Miami, 85
That's
degrees.
why.
Yeah. And the Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, are 3-1. This game is on the Fox networks. Still an early game.
Keith.
Dolphins. I'm not going to be nuts again.
Rob?
43-10. And that's only if they can get in the end zone. Being the Giants, it could be 43-0. Take the Dolphins and run with it.
Might be that in the first half. Giants can't score touchdowns in the first half. Tim?
Yeah. By the way, the warm temperatures are going to be nowhere near Cleveland because we're going to be in the upper 50s by the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could play this game in Antarctica, and I'd still give the Dolphins a 3-point spread for be favorites. Give me the Dolphins to win.
Yeah, the Giants can't block. They can't play defense. That game was unwatchable last night. I tried. I really did, guys. I fell asleep twice. Giants don't have enough going for them. And the offensive line that they've had Jones behind for the past couple of years is so atrocious that it may have ruined him as a player, in my mind. But, man, the Dolphins with that chain coming out, the rookie, I mean, he is on fire. Hill, I mean, is there a better wide receiver in the league right now? I don't think so. Easy one, Dolphins.
Well, Tua said after the loss last week that it was a humbling experience. I think he was talking about Tyreek when he talked about we need to be a little more humble. Tyreek has never been humble. By the way, folks, Dan lives in Garden City. Tyreek went to Garden City Junior College.
It's the community college.
Yeah, community college in Garden City.
Mm-hmm.
His first 2 years in college. The Giants O-line, good night. We've been talking about them every week. Last week they gave up 11 sacks. Daniel Jones is getting clobbered. Saquon Barkley is still hurting, and the Giants are on a short week. Everybody here, including myself, is picking the
Harris, too.
Miami Dolphins, and Harris is with Miami as well.
All right.
The start of the second half, I watched a little bit of the game last night, and Seattle was just running right through the Giants' defense. Like it just made it look easy. And the Dolphins, that's something they've been able to do really well with. What's that mean? Their number one back's name? I always forget.
Mostert.
No, Mostert's like the number two guy, I thought. But maybe he is. It starts with an A. A guy.
Oh, the H-N, yeah.
H-N.
Yeah, ACHA or something.
It's H-N, A-C-H-A, and he pronounces it H-N.
Chain, yeah. Oh, Mostert and a chain. I mean, I have a feeling they're going to tear the Giants up.
All right, our next game is the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans is 2-2, and they're playing at New England 1-3, and like Tim said, it's going to be 59 degrees. There is a 41% chance of rain game time in New England. I think I'm first, I guess.
No, Rob.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Right.
That's all right. The rain right here, I think maybe an advantage a little bit for New England, and they're going to need it because I think these two teams about as even as you can get. Both quarterbacks, shaky play, running the ball's been no problem for both teams. The defenses are playing pretty good for both teams. I don't think neither team. I think one team may score 20 to 18. Patriots. I'll go with the Patriots.
Tim?
Yeah, this was easily the hardest game for me to pick for my confidence picks. I just can't trust the offense for the Patriots. I'll take the Saints.
Keith, Dan.
Yeah, the Pats looked epically bad last week. Jones, his confidence is shot. It doesn't look like it's coming back anytime soon. And there's not really a lot of options there. I like Ramondre over there, but they really haven't been able to block as well as they really need to. I think the Saints have a little more firepower, for sure on offense, and I think the defenses are a draw, like you guys. I'll take the Saints. It's going to be a tough game to watch, though.
Okay, the play calling is really coming under question in New Orleans. Pete Carmichael is the OC. A lot of people in New Orleans are calling for his head. They only threw 2 passes over 10 yards last week. Now, I know Carr's got the shoulder and he played. They brought in Jameis Winston. He threw 1 pass, and that was an interception. New Orleans offense has just been horrible all year long, and showing no signs of coming out of it, so I'm picking New England. Keith?
Gosh, I mean, I'm tempted to go with the Patriots. I just don't trust the Patriots right now. I can't really say I trust the Saints that much, but I have a little bit more confidence in them. And Carr played this last week, right? So he's apparently healthy. I'm going to go with the Saints to win this game.
Harris is also with the Saints. Carl could not throw the ball downfield. He had a 20-yard pass game, a 12-yard pass game. Everything else was 10 yards or less. Kamara's back. That is a good thing. But he had 13 catches for like 33 yards. That's like 2 or 3 yards a catch. Just hand the ball off to him, let him run. Maybe it'll be better.
4 times he was tackled behind the line of scrimmage, which is nuts. Totally crazy.
Who was?
Kamara.
Wow.
He got 12 or 13 catches or something. It wasn't even 40 yards.
Yeah, that's hard to do.
It is.
Our next game is that MASH unit, the
Really
Baltimore
bad, so.
Ravens.
Screen
Baltimore
passes.
is 3-1, and they're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are 2-2. This game's in Pittsburgh, 49 degrees, 36% chance of rain at game time. Lamar Jackson had a great game. He ran for 2 first-half touchdowns and passed for another first-half touchdown. Let's see. Tim's first.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're muted, Tim.
Yeah, reverse. I can't see how the Ravens don't continue the momentum that they had. If I had to put a score on it, maybe 23-13. Ravens will win.
Dan?
I'm on the Ravens as well. I think they've got the momentum, and Pittsburgh's offense just is anemic. They can't get anything going anywhere. I hate to say it, but they might have the next Trent Richardson as a first down running back that flames out. I just don't see where they're going to go with the ball. Pickett, as good as he looked in the preseason, has looked equally as tough to watch in the regular season. And the Ravens and Lamar Jackson are really putting together some things. They lost a weird one to the Colts, but I think they'll take this.
Okay, Baltimore last week dominated their game, and they were missing 5 starting players. who are injured. But the next man up is working for them. The guys who replaced them played well. In the last 5 years, Baltimore has covered 67% of their road games. That's an NFL best. Pickett's knee is not as bad as they thought. I think he's still going to be playing. They never got into the other teams. They never got across the 50-yard line in the first half last week. And I think the Steeler fans are kind of getting tired of 50-50 mediocre football. Last 3 or 4 of these games have been within 3 points. But I don't think this one's within 3 points. I think Baltimore will roll in this game. Keith?
Yeah, I kind of do too. Pittsburgh did win that game in Las Vegas. They did have that issue with that flight. I don't know if that had anything to do with how flat they were down in Houston. I think that Houston had a lot more to do with that. At home, these two teams often at least play very close, tight games. I don't think the Steelers will get completely blown out, but I think the Ravens are going to win the game.
Rob?
I think the Steelers will get completely blown out. 31-10. Yeah, it's not going to be nice.
Right.
Harris is also
really exposed the Browns. That was tough.
Harris is also picking Baltimore in that game.
Well, that's because he's a big fan of the coach.
All right, the next game is the Philadelphia Eagles, 4-0 at Los Angeles. Rams are 2-2. This game is on Fox. It's going to be the Sunday afternoon game. And A.J. Brown shined last week for the Eagles until the taunting penalty, but he had 175 yards on 9 catches. And
he was a big reason they won that game. Really stepped up in a surprisingly close game against the Commanders. The Eagles' defense has a few more holes than I think we thought initially. The Rams they're just kind of tough. They're a weird team. They sometimes can generate. They're never going to probably hit 30 points this season, but they can put some points on the board. I like their running back over there. They've got somebody finally to replace Akers with that Williams. He's been very good for them. But I think the Eagles' offense, combined with a pretty good defensive effort, will keep them undefeated. Give me the Eagles.
I was kind of surprised last week. It looked like the Eagles' offensive line and their defensive line were kind of outplayed in that game. And you don't see that with Philadelphia very often.
No.
Matthew Stafford last week injured his hip. But he said yesterday he feels like he can play next week. And this Puka Nacua, he's quite the story. 163 yards last week in the overtime win against Indianapolis. He's got a total of 501 yards to lead the league and 39 catches to lead the league. He's a rookie from BYU. Now Cooper Kupp is starting to practice, so he's going to be coming back maybe not next week, but probably within 2 weeks. Cooper Kupp will be on the field with Puka Nacua and that very fast Toby Atwell. The Rams are kind of putting something together here, but I don't think they're ready for Philadelphia. I'm picking Philly. Keith?
Yeah, you said it pretty well there. I was going to ask you when Cooper Kupp was supposed to come back, but it's apparently soon, not this week. The Rams, I kind of respect what the Rams are doing. I mean, I don't know how much talent they really have on paper compared to some other teams, but they're playing tough games. But the Eagles will find a way to win this one, even though they have to travel out there.
Rob?
Larry Harris, take the Eagles by 10. I can't, Larry. I can't. Taking it by 17, 37-20. Smear down.
And Tim?
Yes, I will take the Eagles to maybe bounce back after a poor defensive performance to win big.
Harris has Philadelphia also.
I'm sure I'd hurt his feelings even thinking about that one.
All right, our next game.
And does Hertz have to win for job security?
In Philly, he does. In Philly, they want his head. But if he played in Chicago, he could. They put the red carpet out for him. They're doing it for Fields. I'm like,
He'd be the second coming to Chicago. Next game is the Cincinnati Bengals, 1-3, at the Arizona Cardinals, who are 1-3.
Where are we at now?
I think we're.
I think it's you, Keith. Yep.
I was thinking maybe it was, but I wasn't. I'm not going to take the Bengals the way they're playing. I'm going to go with the Cardinals.
Rob?
Bengals favored by 3. I don't see it either. I'm with you, Keith. 19-17. Cards.
Tim?
Yeah, the fact that they still think that Burrow's not he's physically able to play is a joke. Give me the Cardinals to win.
Well, I thought I'd be a little lonelier on the Cardinals island, but
You thought
The
this was
Bengals
one
are-
you could put yourself out ahead of us a game.
right, yeah.
Well, they don't have the Kyler Murray they don't have the Kyler Murray banner out yet, so everybody's jumping on the Cardinals till that time. Yeah.
Till then. Okay, that's the key. I didn't
Yeah,
know. I'll
we're
write that.
all Dobbs. We're all in on Dobbs.
Yeah.
But yeah, to think that Josh Dobbs could beat Joe Burrow after the season Burrow had last year is a little bit of a shock. But man, he looks so terrible. He can't push off. He's got no leverage, and they just keep throwing him out there. I mean, all the evidence is right in front of you. Sit the guy a couple weeks. They should have done it at the beginning of the year. Cardinals.
Well, if the Bengals lose another one, it's YSIO for them. Your season is over. Josh Dobbs, 71% passing. Yeah, he's the better quarterback right here. As everyone has said, Burrow should not be playing, but it's not just Burrows with this Bengals team. Their offensive line failed to pick up 10 blitzes, and the whole team is not playing well. It's like Zach Taylor pulled the pin on the grenade, handed it to Joe Burrows, and said, "Here, hold this." And that's the way it is.
Pulled the pin and separated the other part.
He had them hold the fear,
also-
and they gave him a grenade.
Harris also is picking Arizona, so we are all down for Arizona. Next game up is the New York Jets. And now that's the Denver Broncos. They're going to be wearing their white cap, what they call them, snow cap helmets.
Apparently, Dobbs has completed 70.7% of his passes so far this year. That's pretty good.
Yeah, 71%, 814 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions.
I'm sorry if you already said that, but I was looking for that stat.
New York Jets at the Denver Broncos, 75 degrees in Denver. Jets are 1-3. Denver's 1-3. This game's on CBS in the 3 o'clock, 3:30 slot. Rob?
I'm going to be the only one to pick the Jets here. I'm going to take the Jets. I think their defense is better. Zach Wilson, I'm counting you scored 16 points. If you do, you win for 16-13, the Jets.
Yeah.
Rob, like Liverpool fans, you will not walk alone on this one. I will take the Jets as well.
I don't think Allen walks with Liverpool.
Wow.
I'm with the Jets too. That defense is pretty good. If Wilson hadn't fumbled a snap, they probably would have won that game against the Chiefs. I thought they had all the momentum. Their defense shouldn't have much trouble shutting down whatever it is Russell Wilson's doing over there in Denver. I don't care what colors Denver wears; they're not very good. And the Jets are getting better. Wilson is a heck of an outlet for a young quarterback to be able to go to, and I think the Jets will win easy.
Yeah, the Jets are going to be wearing their white helmets, orange jerseys, and orange pants in that game. The Jets last week, they got the. I don't know if you saw that safety penalty where Juwan Taylor grabbed the face mask, but that was a yard in front of the end zone. That should not have been a safety, and the referee analyst said as much. And then on the following drive, the Chiefs had another penalty that was bogus, where Derek Nottie tackled a receiver by the shirt. He was called for a horse collar, and that really helped the Jets drive. Plus, if you look at that play again, the guy that Nottie was tackling had a hold of Derek Nottie's face mask. So there should have been a penalty on that play, but it should have been against the Jets. Instead of gaining 15 yards, it should have been a long distance situation. They should have lost 15 yards. So that's 9 points and 2 missed penalty calls. And then also the Chiefs, they declined that last touchdown. It could have been 30. That score could have easily been 30-11. A lot of people say, well, the Chiefs gained from holding penalties. That was a holding penalty, the one on MVS. If MVS was not held there, it's at least illegal contact downfield because it was 12 yards downfield. So it's a penalty any way you cut it. It was a holding penalty because he changed his direction. And then Salah and the Jet fans were upset over the 48-yard run by Isaiah Pacheco, where they said Donovan Smith, the holding guy, was holding Jermaine Johnson. And yes, he was. But wait, Dan. His hands were right here. His arms were tucked. Jermaine Johnson was practically not moving. It looked like holding, but that's legal. That's legal all day long, and it's been legal for 30 years. That was not a holding penalty. And by the way, on that play, Dan, did you see Trey Smith launch himself at that Jet player and open up the hole? That was the block of the year.
That was nice. He took him out.
This is the Paul Hackett revenge game, as y'all remember. Sean Payton said that Hackett was the worst coach Denver team in the history of the NFL. Well, this is his chance to shut up Sean Payton, and I believe he will. I'm picking the Jets. Keith?
Yeah, I think we're all the same here. The Jets defense, I think, is a lot better than the Broncos defense, and I think that's the whole difference right there. I mean, Wilson might make a couple plays that Zach Wilson or Russell. Is it Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Russell? Yeah. He might make a few plays that Zach Wilson doesn't, but the Jets, I think, will win this ball game.
Wilson will win the game.
Right. Wilson definitely win the game.
Throw in the Wilson football. Wilson to Wilson to Wilson.
The Jets' secondary was just outstanding. Our receivers could not get open. Maybe it's our receivers not very good, but our receivers were not getting open.
Who did Harris take?
Harris took the Jets also. It's a clean sweep with the New York Jets.
All right. We got you.
All right, our next game are the Chiefs at the Vikings. Chiefs are 3-1. It's a dome, so we're not worried about the weather. It's going to be on CBS, and it's another late Sunday game. Minnesota Vikings are 1-3. Isaiah Pacheco is coming off a terrific game for the Chiefs. I think he had about 143 total yards, 95 yards rushing. And Alexander Madison had his first really good game rushing for the Vikings over 100 yards. Rob, I think you're who's first?
No, it's Tim. Tim. It's turn.
Good. The Vikings are a mess. Chiefs will learn from their mistakes. Mahomes will not be throwing that many interceptions against the Vikings defense. I like the Chiefs by probably 17 points, if not more.
Well, that's a lot of confidence in that offense. I watched that game and I just saw so many points get left on the board there. Just so many bad bad holds. The offensive line play for the Chiefs may not be able to be fixed this season. We'll see. Reed's good. He's got good coaching there, but they're giving up a lot of yards to 10-yard penalties. The Vikings, I mean, they've got a couple bright spots in the passing game, and like you said, Madison had a big game. But it's hard to pick against the Chiefs. They know how to win games. Watching the end of that Jet game on Sunday night, I mean, you were just so confident when they got the ball. They ran the clock for about 7.5 minutes and just iced the game. Give me the Chiefs in this one. I think they win by 10.
Vikings ran the ball more than they passed. I can't remember the last time that's happened in Minnesota. They acquired Cam Akers from the Rams. I'm not sure which one's coming over, the one that doesn't care or the one that tries. We'll see. Madison, as we said, was 17 for 95 rushing last week. I just think, I was a little disappointed in the Chiefs pass rush. So I think they're gonna pin their ears back. And really, if Minnesota comes out trying to throw the ball a lot, I think we're going to sack Cousins quite a bit. I think we're going to put a lot of it. They're going to be disappointed about how they rushed against the Jets line. I think they'll be motivated. I don't know what the Kansas City's going to do about their penalties. We cannot win a Super Bowl with Juwan Taylor committing 9 penalties so far this year. The NFL lead last year was 23 penalties by one guy. He's on pace for about 35 penalties. It's ridiculous. Yeah. His fundamentals are bad. I think he drops back too far. He gives up too much space. He has thrown a few good run blocks, but the penalties are killers. And I'm surprised Andy Reid has gone this long. And maybe if Prince Tanagro had not got injured, he might be making a move to Prince Tanagro, but he's out. The next option is Lucas Nyang, who started for us the year that we went to the Tampa Super Bowl, but he got injured and missed. He sat out a COVID year, and then he got injured and missed a year. So he's been off from football. He played a little bit last year. He has not played yet, but I think Lucas Nyang is the next option at right tackle. We're going to have to do something, or we're not winning another Super Bowl.
So is there a way you could get the hyphenated guy back from medical school?
He retired. Lawrence Durant. Lawrence, what was it, Duvernay?
No.
What was his name?
Edwards Hilaire.
No. It's
offensive
lineman.
Laurent Duvernay Tardif.
Yeah, Laurent Duvernay Tardif. He retired last week officially.
Oh.
And he, by the way, said that he thanked Andy Reid, and he believes that Andy Reid is the only NFL coach that would have allowed him to go to medical school while he was on their active roster, like he did. So,
wow.
Yeah, he's not coming back. That's too bad because he was a bull when it came to run blocking. He was like Trey Smith, run blocking. All right, Keith?
You picked the Chiefs?
I picked the Chiefs, yes.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Chiefs as well. I'm concerned about the lack of balance on the Vikings offense. I think being one-dimensional against a team like the Chiefs with a decent defense, they do seem to get some pressure. And Chiefs do have a lot of weapons. I know that you're talking about their penalties and offensive line issues, but I think they'll still have enough success in this game to win up in Minnesota.
Rob?
Larry Harris says Chuck Foreman and Ahmad Rashad will win this game only in their sleep, and then they wake up to the nightmare. 41-29, Chiefs win.
Harris, Jessup picks Kansas City as well. Next up, we have Roger Jones here. Hold on.
Sunday
night game. Dallas Cowboys. This is the game of the week, for sure. Dallas Cowboys, who are 3-1, playing in San Francisco, where it's going to be 77 degrees and clear. Actually, it's not San Francisco. In fact, that field is a long ways from San Francisco.
It's in San Jose, isn't it?
Santa
Anita.
That's Santa Clara. That's Santa Clara.
Santa Clara.
That's Santa Clara.
Yeah. Santa Clara. That's right. It's south. It's south of San Francisco, I think.
Right. Last week was the both McCaffrey show and Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was 20 for 21 last week. He only missed one pass. But McCaffrey is just playing out of his mind. He had 177 total yards and 4 touchdowns last week. And of course, Micah Parsons did Micah Parsons things for the Cowboys. 4 more sacks. Who's first?
Not quite as good as Khalil Mack, but still, that's a good day.
Oh, yeah, Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack gets a chance to rest after those 6 sacks he had.
Right. So the Niners are on a tear. Hard to pick against them. Defense is all world. Offense is all galaxy, maybe. When they click like they did last week, McCaffrey, if he can put together, the rest of the season like this, he might challenge for an MVP as a running back. That would be really cool to see. I'd root for that. Debo's figured it out. Watching Kittle block is like one of my favorite things to watch in a football game. That guy is just a monster. Dallas, they're still a little shaky to me. What they showed against the Cardinals kind of sits at the back of my mind, and I just don't trust Dak as much as I trust this San Francisco bunch. Give me the Niners.
Speaking of Kittle, I replayed with Fast Drive Football this game from 2022. Kittle scored 2 touchdowns in that game. The Niners won at 27-13, which was actually a better score than the last 2 games. San Francisco beat Dallas 23-17 and 19-12 in their last 2 playoff games. All right. Both teams are averaging 31 points a game on offense. And somehow I think the defenses are going to dictate who wins this game. Both defenses are outstanding as well. Dallas is the number 1 defense in the NFL. San Francisco is now number 3. Javon Hargrave is making a difference for San Francisco. He's got 3 sacks, 3 tackles for loss. I'm giving a slight lean to San Francisco. I think the 49ers will continue their dominance over the Cowboys. Keith?
Yeah, you have Dak Prescott, who's had some issues with throwing some interceptions in the past. Purdy has been almost unbelievably good as a guy that was an unknown, a last pick of a draft. And I always wonder if there's going to be a game where he might make a couple of mistakes, and Dallas has the kind of defense that can maybe cause those mistakes. But then the 49ers defense might be able to get Dak to contribute a couple as well. 49ers, I just think being a better team will find a way to win this one. Even if it's really, really close, I think they'll find a way to win.
The only mistake that Purdy has made was not folding up and falling in a sack before he got clobbered in the championship game last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure he saw him coming.
No, not at all.
Probably didn't.
He was blindsided.
That was the Eagles?
Yeah.
Yes, right.
Yeah. Where the famous sideline shot was Kittle going up to him. Can you throw the ball left-handed?
Yeah, they didn't have a quarterback after that, did they? That was
Right,
kind of
right.
like
They were just right. They were just
They had a backup, but then he got a concussion.
Yeah, he had a concussion pretty quickly.
then it became
I can't remember, but
McCaffrey.
that does sound vaguely familiar.
Yeah, it was not good looking in the second half. It wasn't.
Rob?
Larry Harris again. I am a Cowboys fan, but take the 49ers by 8 in this game. By 8? Oh, you talked me into it. 27-19. I like the Niners in this game. They're the better team. I mean, my goodness, man. Receivers, running backs, defense, kicking, punting anyway. Kicking maybe a small advantage to Cowboys, but everything else, I think everything points to the Niners. They're at home. They win the game by at least 8.
Tim?
And Corbin Carroll has just cut the Brewers' lead to 3-2 with a 2-run homer from your National League Rookie of the Year. Yeah, I agree with the fact that I think the 49ers are just a slight bit better on defense, especially up front. Micah Parsons could throw a little monkey wrench into Purdy, maybe throw some things he hasn't seen before. But I still think that the offense all around is better for the 49ers. So I'll give the 49ers a victory.
I'm seeing 3-3.
Holy cow. Yeah, the Diamondbacks just tied it with another home run, Marte.
Ooh.
So everybody here is on San Francisco,
You
but
tell Marte.
Harris took the Cowboys.
took the Cowboys.
Not a shocker. I mean, it could be a closer
That's
game.
his team. That's his team. You got to roll. You got to roll with who brought
Yeah,
you.
you gotta pick your own team unless you're a
Right,
commander.
you got to, unless you're Keith against the Bears.
Well,
It's just a lot.
I mean, I think against the Browns all the
game.
yeah, the unbearable was on the side of the one guy's
With the
paper
grease
bag.
stain on the bottom, I like it.
Oh yeah, well the grease stain has to go.
It's from up here.
Right, you got to wear a grease stain on the back of it. At least you ate something before you got there. Yeah.
By the way, there is a local store that gives away that is now giving paper bags, like they're not charging for them. It's like, gee, if your local football team goes bad, you could be getting
might make a
people
lot of money.
buying them for getting them and just using them as decorations.
If you have little kids watching this, turn it off right now, just for a second. I saw something on YouTube said something about this was like fans, like I don't forget what it was, 2 or 3 teams ahead, and then if you're Bears, you get a plastic bag and you put it over your head and just do like that.
And then you can restrain your hands so you can't.
You were tying it up. They were showing them tying it up, and I was like, "That is so wrong." And I was like, "Oh."
All right.
Yeah,
Now,
that
reminds
kids,
me
you
of
can
the
come back to
Secret Life
watch.
of
We
David
are done with the
Gale
dog here.
Now you can turn it back up. There you go.
Okay, the Monday night game is the Green Bay Packers 2-2 at the Las Vegas Raiders. They're 1-3. This game's in a dome.
Mhm.
And am I first?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Green Bay's had some injuries, but I think by now some of those injured players will be returning. The rush offense has been disappointing, especially Aaron Jones last week. J.J. Dillon's only averaging 2.7 yards per carry. Their defensive line for Green Bay is playing well. Rashawn Gary, he's a linebacker, but White, Clark, and Brooks on the defensive line are really holding up pretty well and putting up a stout defense. I think Jordan Love gets his first road victory in this game. Kind of getting tired of Jerry Tillery's act. Bad blood against his former team, where he started a fight there on the sidelines. That's the second game, I think, maybe the last 4 that he's been ejected. Jimmy G has got to pass concussion protocol in order to play. Could be another week of O'Connell, the rookie from, I think, Purdue. Josh Jacobs has not gotten started, only 166 yards for 2.7 yards per carry. Mad Max is still playing, but he's about the only one on that defense that's playing well. Tyree Wilson has been a bit of a disappointment as a draft pick on the other side. Offense is too challenged. I think Green Bay wins this game. Keith?
Hey, I saw something today on YouTube. Boy, that's a theme going on here. Where fans of the Raiders were chanting for the coach to get fired. And the owner of the Raiders overheard that. He started yelling at the fans, telling them to use their head. Well, that's probably what they thought they were doing. But he took exception to them wanting the coach fired. So maybe a dumpster fire there in Vegas. And maybe they're better off with O'Connell. I mean, I don't think he played too bad from what I saw against the Chargers. However, I think Green Bay has got a lot more going for him, probably, outside of playing on the road. I'll go with the Packers.
Rob?
You know what? Really, man, I look at this game. Even. Jordan Love plays well, but he has some. I mean, he has some times where it looks like, okay, yeah, he's a first-year kid, and he's still making stupid mistakes. The Raiders have played better than most people want to give them credit for. Having said that, I'm gonna take a pack 23-20. I think it's gonna be a close game, very close.
Tim.
You wonder if Mark Davis's head is at T-Mobile Arena watching the Las Vegas Aces, WNBA team. I can't trust Vegas as far as I can throw them. So give me the Packers.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Raiders are paper thin. If Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs can't carry that offense isn't going to do anything. The defense, like you said, Crosby can play well, but I mean, they focus the block. They slide guys over. He gets chipped all game. The guy fights, but it's not enough help for him up there. The Packers, Gary is a pass rusher I've enjoyed watching, and I think they just have more outlets to go to with the ball. Give me the Packers. I think they win a close one.
Everybody's on Green Bay as Harris is also taking Green Bay. Now this
I
week,
don't know how close that game will be. I think the Raiders could be a mess, but being at home and like Rob was saying, Love once in a while he just kind of makes some decisions.
I'll be right back. I'll stay around for a couple more. I'll stay around for a few more.
That could be close or maybe not so close.
next week, Cleveland, Seattle, Tampa Bay, and the Los Angeles Chargers are all on byes.
Thank God.
When Tampa Bay comes back, they're going to finally wear their creamsicle uniforms that they've been talking about pulling out. So that's coming down the pike in 2 weeks. Before we go to the colleges, let's talk about our locks from last year or last week. I got my trusty locks box.
Locks box.
And last week, Tim picked Philadelphia. Dan picked San Francisco.
No problem.
No problem there. Anthony Crooks picked Kansas City. He was good.
Yeah.
The next pick was Michael Peterson. He had the Seattle Seahawks.
Yep. Very good,
He
Michael.
came flying by there.
They took care of business.
Let's see. Brian picked. Oh, God. Deshaun Watson and the Browns. I go from the penthouse picking Miami to the other place.
The outhouse.
Yeah, the mistake by the lake.
All right, Keith had Dallas.
Okay.
That was good.
They won.
And Rob had
Anybody but the Bears.
anybody.
Anybody but the Bears.
It worked. It worked.
It worked.
Yeah,
Always
but
had
you were down by 21 points there. Going into
That
Always
means,
had the-
trust me, I've never had a problem. I was like, even top of the first of the fourth quarter, I said, they got this.
That might be the only time the Broncos get picked in a survivor pool was last week.
Right.
Okay, the loser gets to pick first. Am I correct?
Yes.
Let's see. I'm looking at Miami and the New York Giants. I got Miami.
Okay.
So that'll be Brian's lock. Miami.
Okay, Keith.
All right.
I'm next.
If you want, Brian,
I will go.
I thought maybe you still had those. I thought maybe you still had those helmets. You could just draw one blindly, and whichever one we had as our pick last week, we would use it again. But it don't matter. Or just go work. I tell you what, just go to Dan, go to Keith, go to Tim, and me last. I'll go last. I feel like confident this week. Go for it, Dan.
Okay.
I got the Lions.
Lions.
Well, let's see.
What did Harris do in that one? The Panthers-Lions game.
Let's see. Harris had. I didn't have one for Harris.
He didn't give you the Panthers and the Lions.
I don't think so.
Let's. You know what? He gave me his picks. Hold on, I got it right here. Panthers and Lions. He went Lions.
Okay.
Yep.
So Dan's got the Lions.
Who's next?
Keith?
Keith, go for
I
it.
guess I'll go with the Bills.
The Bills, Keith will.
We'll put the Buffalo Bills in the lockbox.
Him?
I will take the Philadelphia Eagles.
Always. And let's see.
Eagles go in the lockbox.
Wow. Nobody took your Chiefs? I'll take the Chiefs.
Rob's going to go with the Commanders because they're not the Bears.
Rob's taking the Chiefs.
Okay, so you're not that confident.
I am not Kansas City
Taking
Chiefs
a road
confident.
team over a home team.
Yeah, I'm kind of on upset alert on that game.
I like the Chiefs big.
Okay.
I like them big. I do.
I considered it, but I'm not sure it's a lock.
Which one? Chiefs.
Chiefs and the Vikings, yeah.
I like the Chiefs in that game.
I think I would have gone with the Jets before that.
We'll lock the lockbox. Set that aside for next week.
Should have
And
anyway.
that concludes the NFL portion of this show. If you want to stay on,
Yep.
let's talk about. Do we want to talk about the NCAA picks? I know we got some baseball playoffs games. That
We go top 10. We go top 10 real quick if you want to.
All right, let's go top 10.
That's all we've been doing. I enjoy just doing that.
And number one in that Joe. Oh, okay. You got.
I got Notre Dame and Oklahoma up first. Notre Dame.
No, they don't play each other. Oklahoma's playing Texas.
Oh, I grabbed the wrong one. Sorry.
Oh, Notre Dame. Oh, okay.
Notre Dame is playing Louisville.
Louisville.
So Notre Dame is 5-1,
Yep.
and Louisville is 5-0.
Yep.
Sam Hartman is the best player, leading the way for the Irish.
Lead us off every time, Brian. Just start us up.
Okay, Notre Dame, ESPN says they have a 71% chance to win this game. Their offense is 25th, and their defense is 15th in the country. Hartman's 1,458 yards, 14 touchdowns, 0 interceptions for Sam Hartman. Didn't he come from Wake Forest?
Yes.
So
And Xavier Watts, the linebackers,
Yes.
leading their defense with 2 interceptions and 3 passes defended. Louisville, they're 22 on offense and 24 on defense. They're not chopped liver. They may give Notre Dame a game. Louisville is led by quarterback Williams, 1603, 21 touchdowns, 1 interception. And running back Marshawn Lloyd has 433 yards for an 8.3 per carry average. I'm picking Notre Dame.
I'm going to go with Notre Dame as well.
Ron?
Sam Hartman escapes by the hair on his chin and chin 10, 27-25, Notre Dame.
Tim?
Yeah, I'll go with Notre Dame.
And Dan?
yeah, Notre Dame in this one.
Okay, now we have the Red River Battle, the last one for the Big 12.
Yep.
Oklahoma is, let's see, they are 5-0, and also, of course, Texas is 5-0. Oklahoma is led by quarterback Dan Gabriel on offense, and he's squaring off against Quinn Ewers for an interesting quarterback battle in this game. OU, ESPN is giving them a 54% chance to win the game. I'm not so sure. They've not shown that they can run the ball very well. Their offense is 3rd in the country, defense is 5, and they're led defense by Dan Stutzman, 2 sacks and 9 tackles for loss. Texas is 31st on offense, 13th on defense. Ewers is kind of hanging on in the Heisman stuff. 1358, 10 touchdowns, 1 interception. And Byron Murphy, who I think will be a first-round pick, is 2.5 sacks, 3.5 tackles for losses. I am picking Texas in this game.
The quarterback for Oklahoma, he's a lefty. Gabriel, look like a picture.
Yes, he is. He's lefty. Yep.
Okay. I know where Rob's going, and I think I'm going to join him there. I'm going to go with Oklahoma to pull off a little bit of an upset here.
Okay, Rob?
Yeah. Texas 4.5-point favorites. I don't see it. Like you said, they're like in the 30s in offense. I think Oklahoma is going to bury Quentin Ewers this week. 31-27, upset. OU wins.
I see Texas by 6.5 on CBS, but
I think Oklahoma is going to win by 4, though. 31-27.
Tim?
Yeah, I think this could be another game like last year that's in the 40s for both teams, but I think that Oklahoma will win.
And Dan?
So, I mean, I've watched both teams. Texas is very impressive. I just have a feeling OU is going to get up for the last rivalry game and take it.
So 4 of us are on OU, and I'm on a win. Or maybe at the end of one of the Longhorns.
yeah,
Oh,
I don't want to be there.
Next game is the Maryland Terrapins. Maryland is, 5-0.
Yep.
Ohio State is 4-0 and ranked 3rd in the country. Let's see, Maryland. Get this out here. The Terrapins are 16th on offense, 16th on defense. I think they have a better quarterback in Tagovailoa, 1464, 66%, 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. They have a cornerback named Tarheeb Still with 3 interceptions. This is a shot of the quarterback. Oh, no, that's the wrong guy.
That's Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, this is.
That's him. That's him right there.
Is he Tua's brother?
Yes.
Yes, he is. He is. He's right-handed though. Yep.
So Ohio State, the Buckeyes are coming off of a bye. ESPN gives them a 91% chance to win this game. Their offense is 38th. Defense is number 2 in the country. Kyle McCord, 1,055 yards, 6 touchdowns, interception, and the defense is led by Denzel Burke, 1 interceptions and 5 passes defended. I am picking Ohio State. Keith?
Yeah, I will too. I'm going to go with the Buckeyes. Although Maryland's playing impressively, I just think Ohio State might be a little bit too good for them.
We could be looking at 3 good games with these games here. Rob?
Oh, man, 18.5 points is what they're favored for. I don't see that. I really don't. Maryland was off last week. So was Ohio State, but still, man, I mean, yeah, they're going to be at home. 41-28. Ohio State beats them. A couple touchdowns.
Tim?
I don't see it. I think that maybe Notre Dame, granted they probably have better athletes, but yeah, I think they may have got the blueprint on how to stop Harrison. I don't know. I'm going to put the Buckeyes on upset alert. I'll go with Maryland.
Ooh, boy. Oh,
Okay.
man. Oh, man.
Dan?
If you have a bunch of angry people at your door here pretty soon, too.
You are.
Let them come. I don't
You're not that
care.
far from Columbus.
2
We're getting in the
hours.
cars right now.
Well, yeah, they're 2-hour drive north.
Yeah.
There you
They won't
go.
like me at Nationwide Arena when I go there possibly next
2
week.
hours north of Columbus.
2 hours north of Columbus. Yep.
There you go. Yeah, the Terps are one of the only teams I think left outside of the traditional powers that can give Ohio State a scare. I want to pick the Terps. I want to go with Tim's route, but I know that at home, Ohio State, it's tough to beat them. I think they win by 2 touchdowns.
All right, this game will be an easy pick. That's Tech, Virginia Tech, Hokies. Hokies are 2-3. They're playing Florida State. Florida State is 4-0 and ranked 4th in the country, and I'm picking Florida State. Virginia Tech is 96th on offense in the country out of 133, and 64th on defense. That's not great. The one player that people probably are noticing is Antoine Powell, a defensive lineman, 3 sacks, 5 tackles for a loss. Florida State is ESPN's gives them a 95% chance to win. They're 10th in offense and 48th on defense. Jordan Travis is a very poised player. He's a good quarterback. I kind of like him. I'd have a picture of him, but I put up more than 100 files. StreamYard said you can't put more than 100 files on one show. So no picture of Jordan Travis. 10 touchdowns, 1 interception. Defense is led by Kanan DeLoach. I've seen him play 3 sacks, 4.5 tackles for loss. He's definitely the real deal. I'm picking Florida State in an easy game. Keith?
Yeah, me as well. I'm going to take Florida State to win pretty easy. But I was interested in Rob's take. I know he was surrounded probably by a bunch of empty beer cans last night when he was explaining to me how Virginia Tech was going to fully upset this one. Right? Am I remembering that right?
Yeah, you're out of your damn mind. 42-10. Florida State is they're gonna bury these poor boys early. 42 is low end, guys, but 10 is probably top end for the Hokies. Brent Pry, I think he's going to be looking for a new job very, very soon. They want him out. 42-10, Florida State.
Yeah, I'll go Florida State all day and 3 times on Sunday.
Dan?
Dan's on mute. You can still read what he's saying.
Sorry, guys. Florida State, it'll be easy for them.
Yeah.
All right, this one could be a good game. We got Kentucky going to Georgia. Kentucky's 5-0. They're one of 3 undefeated SEC teams. Georgia's the other of the 3. Georgia's 5-0. Kentucky's rated 20th in the country. Georgia is number 1. Still, a lot of people are kind of doubting that. A lot of people are thinking Michigan should probably be number 1 at this point, but they're still officially number 1. Kentucky really hasn't beaten anybody good yet. That's the only thing that's holding them back. Head coach is Mark Stoops. Their offense is 21st. Defense is 20. Ramon Davis has rushed for or has a total of 740 yards with 11 touchdowns. And defensive back Maxwell Harrison for Kentucky has 3 interceptions, 3 passes defensed. Buck Bowers, tight end, leads Georgia, 420 yards and 4 touchdowns. Georgia's 15th on offense and 14th on defense. And Tyke Smith leads the defense with 3 interceptions and 1 pass defense. I'm picking Georgia to win this game. Might be competitive for 2 or 3 quarters, but I'm picking Georgia. Keith?
I'm kind of wondering, how does Kentucky compare to Auburn? The Auburn giving Georgia a little bit of a scare there, but Georgia being back home, I think that they'll rise to the occasion for their fans and win this game probably fairly comfortably.
Rob?
Yeah, I think this is – I actually think Kentucky – it may be the worst undefeated team in the country. 45-28, Georgia puts them in their place.
Tim?
Yeah, I'm not going to go upset alert here. I'll go with Georgia.
And Dan?
Yeah, I like Georgia. Kentucky's always the little brother to those guys.
Next up is Michigan goes to the Minnesota Gophers. Forgot to throw up Georgia's logo. That's the Georgia Bulldog. And they got Michigan is undefeated at 5-0. Minnesota is 3-2.
Not Minnesota.
Arizona.
There you go.
The Gophers are 3-2. And I can't do those Mahomes no-look passes. I don't look and I hit the wrong file. Minnesota's not scoring.
Tua no-look pass, yeah.
Minnesota is not scoring, and they might not score in this game. Michigan is 87% chance to win by ESPN. They're 39th in offense, number 1 in the country on defense. Blake Corum is starting on the offense with 425 yards, and he's already got 9 touchdowns.
Wow.
Defensive lineman Josiah Stewart has 2 sacks and 3 TFLs. I'm picking Michigan in a run. Keith?
Yeah, but this is a little brown jug game or something like that. Is that what they play for?
I think so.
Yeah, Michigan. I thought they might have had a little more trouble with Nebraska than what they did. I don't know. Maybe the coaching in Nebraska isn't what they thought it would be. Minnesota was ranked high going into the season, but this is not a team they're going to be able to beat. I don't think, even at home. Michigan will probably win by double figures.
Ron?
Not so fast. PJ Fleck, he wants that job, I think, at Michigan State. I still think he's going to be the Michigan State coach come next year. This is a one-score game. Michigan's going to be down but in 2 minutes, in the last 2 minutes, they're going to be losing this ball game. 29-23 last minute touchdown. They win the ball game. Minnesota gives them all they can handle.
Tim?
I love the fact that you're using a number 2 pencil there, Rob. Very classy.
Oh, wow.
Come prepared.
Yeah, he has come prepared. Yikes.
I got one extra.
One extra. Several extra.
Yeah, but it's got to be a Dixon Ticonderoga, I believe. But anyway, yeah, I'll take the Wolverines big as much as it kills me, but it's the truth.
If you've ever been in Sequoia National Forest, the whole place smells like a number 2 pencil.
Really?
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Where's that at?
And it's in Central California by Fresno State.
What was the place? You were telling me that the other day.
Sequoia National Park.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, you were telling me that the other night, but
yeah, I've got Michigan. I love to see an upset here and there, but I think they have too much for Minnesota.
Well, our last top 10 game is
what kind of pencil was that you were talking about, Tim? Was it a pen or is
Dixon
it
Ticonderoga. That's just the specific number 2 pencil he uses.
Oh, okay.
Okay, last top 10 game is Arizona. Arizona is 3-2, and they go to SC. USC is 5-0. SC is ESPN gives them a 91% chance to win the game. Arizona's offense is 77. Their defense is 35. Defense is led by linebacker Jacob Mann with 3 sacks and 5.5 tackles for loss. USC, Caleb Williams, I've still got him in first place for the Heisman. He's thrown for 1,603 yards, 21 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. Marshawn Lloyd, running back, 433 yards, is averaging 8.3 yards per carry. And he's got 512 total yards, and they got a whole slew of receivers who can catch the ball at USC. I'm picking USC over Arizona.
Yeah, I like USC too. I was kind of surprised at how many points they gave up to Colorado. And I was surprised how close Arizona played to Washington. But I don't think that they will play that close to USC. Go with the Trojans, probably by double figures.
Rob?
Yeah, USC's favored by 22. But they're going to give up 35 in the process, or are they going to cover? Yes, they will. 58-35. USC wins, covers, no problem.
Rob, what's the over-under in that game?
72 is what I see here.
116. No, I'm just kidding.
I see 72.
72, they get that by the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe that's also going to go way over. But yeah, I still think that SC wins this game.
Dan?
Yeah, SC wins an offensive game. I think they can score with anybody. Fun team to watch.
Just a couple of notes. The national darlings, the Colorado Buffaloes, will take on Arizona State and probably get back in a win column.
Are they going to Arizona State?
I think so.
Okay.
And LSU is playing Mizzou. And I think that's a big game in the SEC.
It is.
Yeah.
I think Missouri wins that. I like Missouri.
I kind of like Missouri in the upset myself.
I like Missouri in that ball game.
As long as Brady Cook doesn't get hurt any more than he's been getting hurt.
D-back solo home run.
How about Bama and A&M? Does anybody
LSU
like
is still in the top 25.
Does anybody like A&M? I do. I do. I think A&M wins. I like A&M in that ball game.
LSU's the only 2-loss team that's still in the top 25.
Well, they don't have to worry about it after this week. It'll be 3 losses.
Well, guys, we got baseball playoffs going on.
I go with Colorado and maybe Missouri.
Yeah,
as well.
I like Colorado there and Missouri.
Yeah.
Thanks, Larry Harris, for joining us, and Lori, and everybody else that's been in. If you're in the show, you can always comment. We'll try to get those comments on the screen. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, and may God bless.
Roll the bones, boy. Roll the bones.